All right. Yeah. So sorry, Ian got frozen, and we had to stop recording because we were talking about everyone's list. He wasn't on the list. He wasn't on the recording. So anyway, we were talking about Baker Mayfield. I think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think that I thought Baker Mayfield was good. I didn't think that he was. What was he? Your ninth best?
Yep.
Yeah. I guess I could. No, I don't think he's top 10 yet.
This is also going into next season, correct?
Okay. That's fine. I guess the way I see it, I would equate my list to like if I were a shark on Shark Tank, but this is the NFL Shark Tank. Yep. I'm evaluating what you've done. Like I need to know, do you have potential? Okay, if you have potential, that's great. Now the question is, what have you done in your career so far? And for me, I haven't seen the what have you done in your career so far. He's done pretty good, but just top 10, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Mine's a little different the way I assessed it. Mine's like it's what I did it purely off of skill level. Like who I think overall, if you just have quarterbacks standing next to each other, there's no team involved. Which quarterbacks do I think are the best quarterbacks in the league? Because it's tough you got to be able to take them away from their team and assess them just as a player.
Yes. Yeah. So Hayden, defend your pick.
I just did.
No, I cut off.
Okay. Again, he played half a season with a coach that hasn't been able to do anything. He took a franchise that has been a laughingstock for the last 15 years, got them to within a game of the playoffs after starting really poorly. And he has the it factor that a lot of quarterbacks that you consider better than him
Tell your dog to shut up, please.
They don't have.
Okay.
Sure. In 2 years. Sure.
Well,
he's better than Doc right now.
No, he's not. My number 8 was Matthew Stafford.
Really?
Yeah.
Hayden and I were just talking about him actually. Because a year ago, I was saying that a year ago I probably would have had him higher than Andrew Luck because I don't see the Andrew Luck hype just yet. And he's been hyped up for so long. But just this past season, Matthew Stafford didn't do anything to impress me. And I really want to be impressed. He's from Dallas. He went to Highland Park, and I guess we don't like Highland Park that much because we went to Pierce. But, local guys, I got to root for them. And I just wasn't really that impressed with him. He kind of had a falling off of the season, in my opinion. And so he stayed off of my top 10 list. But
I think the Lions had a falling off season. I don't think Matthew Stafford had a falling off season. But it's just different. It's just the way I assessed mine.
Okay.
Go ahead, Kennedy.
All right, my number 8 is, I'm really sad that Hayden had to hear this, but it was Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan had the 4th best QB rating in the league this year. He threw for 35 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Stop.
Oh, hold on. No. You said these were your words when you talked about Jared Goff. You went to QB rating, you went to yards, you went to touchdowns, you went to interceptions. So I'm going to do the same thing here because Matt Ryan threw for 35 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That's a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That's pretty impressive. He also just 3 seasons ago, in the last 3 seasons, he had one season lower than his season this year where I don't remember exactly what his QB rating was, but as I said, this year, top 4 in QB rating, 108, and then 3 seasons ago, he was the MVP. So in the last 3 seasons, no, it wasn't. He really showed up that year. Like, I'm not going to say that he's the best quarterback in the league, but like that year, he was really good. This year, he was really good. There were a lot of injuries on that team that I still think held the Falcons back, but I think that he's not in my top 5. But I think that he's my number 8. I don't think that's really that big of a reach, in my opinion. His numbers are there.
To be honest, When we were talking before we started recording, I thought you were about to have number 9 at number 8. Drew. No, Drew at number 8.
Oh, okay. No. Sorry.
That's why I was a little bit more mad.
Okay.
I can't,
I would never troll like that.
Okay. I don't see the hype about Matt Ryan.
No, I get it. I do think that I have questions about Matt Ryan.
I'm tired of the Falcons. Maybe this is more the Falcons fan base in general, because I deal with them on a daily basis.
They deal with you. Let's just remind everyone that.
True.
Continue. I'm sorry.
I'm tired of the Falcons using injuries every season as an excuse. Every team goes through injuries. This is also the same team that blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. Let's just remind everyone that. Oh my God, I just realized I said the F word on.
You did. Frame it.
Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. All right, I'm done talking about the Redbirds.
July 23rd.
You're good. That's one of my biggest things with Matt Ryan.
We're mad at 8. I'll say that.
Okay. I will say one of my reservations with his numbers. You could make the case that just by numbers alone that he could be in the top 5 this year. But my reservation with him is the things that you said, blowing a 28-3 lead. Not showing up in the big moments all the time, and just really the throughout his career, we've always had those questions. He hasn't really answered them. And he had the perfect opportunity a few seasons ago to solidify himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the league if he were to just have finished the second half the way that you would expect an MVP quarterback to do so. But he didn't. And so that's why I don't have him in my top 5, or even really, I think 8 was probably an appropriate spot for him just because of that. So my defense on Matt Ryan.
I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
I just can't do that. I just can't. But
you're gonna be mad at my list.
Uh-oh.
I'm done with you. I'm already used to you. You're whatever.
Ian, who's your number? What are we?
8.
My 8 was Matthew Stafford.
Oh, that's right.
My 8 is Mr. Cam Superman. Even with his shoulder being screwed up basically for most of last season, he threw for 3,400 yards, 24 touchdowns, had a 94 QBR, also is the best runner at the quarterback position in the NFL. They were 7-1 before he really screwed up his shoulder. And I'll say this. Again, this year, they scare me more than the Redbirds. And last year at 7-1, going into that Steelers game, I was actually scared of Carolina. They were playing really well, and Cam was playing well.
Yep.
And then injuries set in. And what keeps him from going higher on my list, I think, is sometimes he struggles to throw accurately.
That's why I don't have him on my list because of that, actually.
And I wouldn't be mad at that. I just think he does other things really, really well on top of, throwing the football.
Yeah.
He's not the most accurate, which is why he's lower on my list. But he's also an MVP that I think actually deserved it. We're not even going to get started on Matt Ryan.
Who's he play for?
The Redbirds from that ugly city in Georgia. I think Cam, combination of throwing, but more his running ability is what puts him at 8, but his throwing accuracy is what keeps him from going higher.
Okay.
I'm mad at that.
And if he would not have been injured, I would say he possibly could have been a little bit higher.
So I do agree with you on his, like, he's good at a lot of other things than throwing. Like, I mean, he is a decent thrower. I'm not going to try to say that he's a bad thrower, but I think that he's not a top 10 thrower in my opinion. He might not even be top 15. And I think over the last 3 seasons, we saw him. This year, he had a decent QB rating. Last year, it was 80.7, which was pretty underwhelming. And the year before was 75.8.
Yeah.
The year before that, he did win the MVP, and he had the highest touchdown percentage of anyone. And so I think that he really deserved that, especially with the success that team had. But I will say this about him. That team does win with like some quarterbacks. I don't necessarily see it, but you get the results with them. Guys like Dak Prescott, who I'm not like in love with his ability yet, although I could be. But there's enough victories with him to where I think that if you wanted him in your close to 10 range, I wouldn't be like, I don't know. I don't agree with it, but it's not there. Same with Russell Wilson, but the results are there. So Cam Newton is one of those guys to where I think that like the results are there. I don't really like.
Kennedy.
You threw out a name, Hayden did not.
Hang on. Did you just say Russell Wilson's not in your top 10?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
No, I said that he's one of those guys who, like, when I watch him, I'm not blown away, but the results are there. So
Okay.
Cam Newton's one of those guys.
Just wanted to
Well, good. What are we at now?
Are we ready for number 7?
Yeah.
I guess since it's relevant, I'll just throw mine out there. My number 7 is Russell Wilson.
See, I'm not mad at that. He's a little bit higher in mine, but
yeah,
I could see it being 7 as well because, again, not thrown away.
Well,
I think a lot of people overhype, how much he carries his team to wins. But anyway.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. I've got Russell Wilson at my number 7 as well. And pretty much for everything that we, that I just said, I think that the results are there. He's a Super Bowl champion, and every year he puts up, pretty good numbers. I would never say that he carries his team, although now he's kind of, I think he's carrying his team more than he used to. He used to kind of, he was a part of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's better than he used to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was good, but that defense really was one of the best defenses in our lifetime.
Yeah.
That and maybe some of the Ravens defenses probably. 49ers defenses were there too, but that defense was that secondary was phenomenal, and so I think that
the best ever secondary. I don't.
Yeah, I mean you could make that case, and I think that that's a fair case. But yeah, so I mean in recent history, like I kind of thought that after that, okay, Russell Wilson was going to maybe disappear a little bit, and he's remained pretty constant. He's gotten even a little bit better. So I think that I can't like leave him out of my top 10. I think that would be ridiculous. And as I said, the results are there. He's a good quarterback. He's my number 7.
At my number 7, I have Philip Rivers, who graded out really nicely. Again, put up good numbers. But again, I find myself, doesn't make big plays in big moments.
That's what held him down in mine.
He reminds me, I don't want to say this because I love trolling this guy, but he reminds me a lot of Tony Romo. He's really good for about 3/4 of the game, and then when you need a big time throw, he seems to throw an interception or miss a throw. But then again, I don't know. I could see him and my number 6 being switched if you want to. I think maybe you could make an argument for top 5 based on numbers alone.
No.
big time moments, I find myself lacking confidence in him in big time moments, like Mr. Tony Homo.
That'll probably appease a lot of our viewers there.
So
Yeah.
disrespectful, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. No. So I'll be honest with you though.
Homo.
What's his name? Dak Prescott, or not? Sorry, Dak Prescott's probably Ian's next pick. I'm just kidding.
We haven't gotten there yet.
No. Yeah. Phillip Rivers is my number 6, and I do. I think that as you said, he graded out really well. I saw that, and I've always been a pretty big Phillip Rivers guy. I do think personally, maybe I'm a little biased here, but I did think Romo was a little better. But I was going to say the same comparison. I think that they were both really good regular season quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think Romo was a little bit better, but I also think that they had very similar circumstances for a long time where maybe both of them didn't have a great offensive line or even the best receivers at certain points in their career or the best defenses. But I just think that Romo did a little bit better than what he, with what he had than Phillip Rivers at various points. But Phillip Rivers now, I think he's a pretty accurate quarterback. I think he's done a good job of leading that team. I still don't love his offensive line. I think that they're better, but I still don't love them. And
great, they're average. I would say.
So I think that for him, just the consistency of his numbers puts him in my top. I said 6, so I couldn't put him in my number 5 because of what you said, though, because of the whole question. Like, they realistically this season, I think that you could have made the case that they were the best all-around team, and they didn't make it past the Patriots, who were.
I think he's the reason.
Yeah, you could certainly make that argument, and they even kind of just escaped the Ravens.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Ravens' defense was great, but I don't know. So that's my only hesitation with him being top 5.
And
why I didn't put him there.
Again, there's no excuse this year for Phillip Rivers. That around him is loaded. That's who I have going to the Super Bowl in the AFC.
Do you really?
Personally, yeah.
Okay.
That team is that. If Melvin Gordon stays there, sorry, let me clarify that. If Melvin Gordon is still there for the season, then yes, I do.
Man, number 7 running back.
Number 5, but
you're down. Number 4.
Okay. Either way. So at number 6, I have Russell Wilson for literally the same reasons that y'all said. If you wanted to switch Phillip and Russell, I would have no issue with that. Again, I think Russell makes bigger plays in bigger moments. And I think their numbers are pretty similar, especially when you add in Russell's ability to extend plays. He also threw 5 less interceptions and 3 more touchdowns. So I think that plays into it. He didn't grade out as highly in terms of PFF, but he had a higher QBR. Again, he also has the added threat of running. But I think Phillip has the better supporting cast around him, at least the last couple of years. So I wouldn't be mad if you switched them. So I have Russell Wilson at 6.
Okay.
My number 7 was Russell Wilson, and I flip-flopped him with my guy at number 6 a few times. But my number 6 is Mr. Cameron Newton.
Y'all are really high on him. I like him, but sorry.
I think he's slightly better than Russell Wilson. I think he's the best mobile quarterback in the NFL. And I think he's capable of playing at or close to his MVP season. And I think the offensive line that he's had and the team around him that he's had has been holding him down a little bit. But I think he's capable of being one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. That's just what I think. Him and Russell Wilson were really close, in my opinion. And I just slightly gave him the nod over him.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm not mad at it. I'm not, again, that's not like outrageous to me.
Yeah.
I'll say this. The one thing about Cam Newton that I have to admire is that I don't think he's ever had like a really good receiver on his team. The best receiver that we've probably seen him have is Steve Smith, and an old version of Steve Smith maybe.
Kelvin Benjamin.
Kelvin Benjamin, he had him for like a season, right? And then they got traded. I don't know. I thought Kelvin Benjamin was okay.
Yeah. He had Kelvin Benjamin for Kelvin Benjamin's best season in the NFL.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fair, but I do think that Steve Smith was a little bit better.
Than Kelvin Benjamin, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. It was the style of receiver that Kelvin Benjamin is, and I think that played well for Cam Newton.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, they're in a tough division. But
they are.
Again, there's not an excuse for Cam this year. He has arguably a top 5 running back. Funchess is gone, but Greg Olsen is back. He's always been, big time. The defense is getting older, so the window is smaller than it was the last time they were in the Super Bowl. Even, what was that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2015.
4 years ago. So, again, that's a tough division. Outside of Tampa's trash. But, you could argue that there would even be a case for 3 of those teams making the playoffs. I won't say the Redbirds, but, I people want to argue that with me. And, whatever. We're not going to get into that right now, but go ahead.
We're at number 5, right?
Number 6. Did you say?
I said my number 6. My number 6 was Phillip Rivers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Number 5.
My number 5.
My number 5.
Number 5.
At number 5, I have Matt Ryan.
Oh my God. I can't.
Hayden. I'm screwing with you. Matt Ryan's not on my list.
Thank God. Ian, I literally was very close to kicking you from the call. Like, dead ass serious.
I figured. I knew I'd get you going with that.
Oh my God.
But you know what I wanted to do? I was thinking about saying Drew Brees at whatever spot I have him at, if I have him, and then saying Matt Ryan in the next spot. I thought that'd really get you going. But before I say my number 5, I have this question that I wanted to ask whenever we first started recording for Kennedy. Over under, Kennedy, Hayden drinks 5 energy drinks a day. Because I've seen him drink 2 since we've been on this.
You said 5?
Yeah, I've seen him drink 2 in the last hour and a half.
And I'll go slightly under. I'd say probably 4. Maybe an average of 4.5. You're gonna take the over?
3.
Hayden, man,
most of the time I have energy drinks, it's during this.
Okay.
Hey, do we bore you that much?
No, it's just literally, I mean, I have to be.
I get you.
I have to be on my. But yes, that's an issue.
Yeah. I hope you live past 30.
Oh my
man.
I used to drink 1 in the morning, and I felt like I was going to topple over and die after about 6 months of it.
I can't do it.
But back on topic, my number 5 is the guy that neither of you are very high on at all. I have Andrew Luck at number 5. I think he's got I think he has the skill set to be a top 3 quarterback in the league. I think he has that skill. I think he hasn't really had the opportunity. Like we were talking about, he had 2 years where last year he played at a high level, and then I think it was his second year in the league when he had his best season. And that was the best Colts team he's had. And I think he's capable of playing that. Because like I was saying, I judged my list purely off of, I took them off the teams they were on and judged them purely off what I think their ability as a quarterback is. And I think Andrew Luck's is very, very high.
I mean, yeah, I think that if you scouted him, he would be one of the best scoutable prospect guys in the league. But just when it comes down to it, he hasn't had some of the best teams in the league. This year, I thought his team was actually pretty solid. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Cowboys.
Yeah, offensive line finally can protect him. T.Y. Hilton, I think, is a top 10 receiver, closer to 10, but still a really good receiver. And they actually had an okay running game, but I just think at some point there have been so many what ifs with him. I was telling Hayden this when your connection stopped or when your computer died, but I just feel like at some point I need to get past the what ifs and say what have you done? And for me, I think that he's done a decent job, good enough to be a top 10 quarterback, but just not good enough to be 5 or even really close to 5. Honestly, I guess 9 is kind of close.
Mine's not.
Yeah, but
That's fair. I'm not very mad at looking at it that way. It's just a little different than how I judged it, but I'm not mad at that at all.
okay. Well, my number 6. I think Hayden might know where I'm going.
What number 5? Who is your number 5?
Oh, sorry, my number 5. Yeah. Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is my number 5. Let me tell you something real quick. So, the Texans were bad. They were really bad before Deshaun Watson got there. I don't even know who their last quarterback was.
Matt Schaub.
Was it Matt Schaub?
It was Brock Osweiler, wasn't it?
It was Brock Osweiler. Oh my gosh, they were bad, and then he came in and they became good. He had a good rookie season, got injured. He had a good season last year, and I just think that one of the numbers that I just saw earlier was he has the best passer rating under pressure in the league. So what he does with, I think, the worst offensive line in the league, I think is the most impressive in the league. DeAndre Hopkins was good before Deshaun Watson was there. Now DeAndre Hopkins is possibly the best wide receiver in the league because of Deshaun Watson.
They're a perfect match for each other.
They're great. They're both even Clemson guys, which is actually kind of cool. But I think that other than that, Deshaun Watson, I was back and forth between him and Phillip Rivers. I think that Deshaun Watson he is an accurate quarterback. He's not the most accurate quarterback, but I think that his decision making is solid. I think he has that it factor. I think that one of the things that everyone knows about him, he can run the ball. And so I think that there are too many parts of his game that I think are great. And I think that the best is only in front of him. So he's my number 5. And I think that I saw Madden rated him at 82 and almost lost it. I think people really, like, he's good.
Madden's a joke. Madden's a joke.
The only thing that I disagree with is I think Matt Schaub's not a good quarterback, and I think the Texans were at a point where they were ready to be successful. They had everything in line except for, as you can see, their offensive line because he's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. But I think they were ready to win games. They had the team built for it, and I think Deshaun Watson came in and he's the perfect quarterback. He's exactly what they needed, and I think that helped them be successful. And like I was saying when I said my number 10 was Deshaun Watson, I said he's got nowhere to go on this list but up. And after next year, I probably will have him a lot closer to where you have him. That's where I have him right now. And I know Hayden's number 5 is probably the same.
My number 5, Deshaun Watson.
That's right.
I told Kennedy coming into this, because we kind of talked about Deshaun already before he got on the call. That's why we were like telepathic.
Yeah. Which is weird. I don't want to ever do that again.
Yeah, don't do that.
But yeah.
We also had Jared Goff together.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, I'm pretty on it today.
Pretty soon you're gonna be putting Michael Thomas as the best receiver in the NFL.
No, never.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we're not gonna get into that right now. Yeah, basically everything Kennedy said, but threw for 4,100 yards, completed 68% of his passes, also runs the ball extremely well, played behind the worst offensive line in football, and yet played like arguably a top 7 quarterback. So all they got to do is literally be better than worse in the NFL. And hello, number 5, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when you said I'm pretty high on Deshaun Watson, and I was like, you had him at number 10, and And you are hot. I mean, I think some people I've been listening to a lot of podcasts here recently and seen a lot of lists, and he's not in everyone's top 10. And to me, I'm like, I think he's top 5. At worst, I'd probably have him like 8. But no, yeah. I mean, that 10 is high for Deshaun Watson, but I just love Deshaun Watson. I think he's great.
Oh, I can't wait for number 4.
Is it Dak Prescott?
Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay. And number 4, I do have Dak Prescott.
See, that's not even a believable lie.
Yeah. Where's he going? I broke the guy. Oh, look, he disappeared. What just happened?
What was that? Yo, your screen went black.
I turned my light off. I just needed to.
Oh, okay. I was like,
fix emotions or something. No, yeah, Dak Prescott. Sorry, I missed everything that you might have just said.
I do not have Prescott on this list.
Thank God.
No. Yeah, my number 4 is that bum-ass quarterback in New Orleans.
At number what?
At number
4.
Which is exactly where he should be.
Okay.
He is elite, but the 3 quarterbacks above him, there's not a conversation about it.
Hayden, man.
I know, Kennedy, you better have him at number 4. I think you do. You're a reasonable guy.
No, Kennedy's smart.
Kennedy.
Look, man, we'll see where he is. We'll see where it is, but
Go ahead, Ian. Give us your reasons. I told you what was going to happen if you put him outside of 3. I told you what was going to happen. Go ahead.
What's going to happen?
Go ahead. Give us your reasons.
My reasons are he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but the 3 guys I have ahead of him, they're on a different level. It's not really compatible. I think Drew Brees' team, like I've said with all of the guys that we list where you have them ranked way too high, they aren't as good individually as they are as a team. Drew Brees is the best player on the Saints. I'll give you that, and that's not really even close. But between him and these other guys on the list, I don't think there's really much of a conversation about it.
my number 4
Oh, I'll wait till I get to.
is Drew
I know.
Brees.
Whenever we get to 1, who?
Drew Brees. I'm totally messing with you. My number 4 is actually Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, man. No, I wanted to see Hayden's face, but now I feel kind of bad because Ian looks really disappointed. But number 4, I have Aaron Rodgers. Look, normally probably before
Drew
the season.
Brees over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Drew Brees has. Just this season, we saw he didn't he complete like 75% of his passes or something like that.
Yep.
That's unheard of. You got that, and his QB rating I think was the second best, or maybe it was the best in the league. Yeah.
115.7. He also graded out as the best passer in PFF. He also threw 32 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions.
Yeah, so I have Drew Brees up there. I'm not going to say where I have him, but Aaron Rodgers is my number 4. Really off of a bad year for Aaron Rodgers. It was a bad year, but he still threw, 25 touchdowns and 2 interceptions?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you throw 2 interceptions, you have to be in the top 5, unless you were just injured that whole year. But even at that, he did have a down year.
He had a bad year for Aaron Rodgers.
A bad year for Aaron Rodgers.
62% completion percentage.
Are we basing it off of last year alone?
No. I'm part of it is a little bit of a trajectory for me too. Drew Brees somehow, some way keeps getting better. It seems like, at least his numbers do, and so part of me is like, okay, he's old, but the other part of me is like, there's not really any sign of him slowing down. So. Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is the best passer in the league, and he wins a Super Bowl on the Saints team this past year.
Aaron Rodgers, this year I don't think so, but Aaron Rodgers, I think this season
You're actually on drugs. You are actually on drugs. You are actually on drugs. Did you just say that? Did you just say that? Drew Brees led the league in literally so many passing categories.
Where's Aaron Rodgers on this list of QB ratings?
He's probably low.
Oh, he's 13. Okay. Yeah, so that's the only reason I have him at 4. But before this year, I might have put him as the best quarterback in the league. So just off of this season, he dropped a little bit, but it's really close. I think these top 4 guys are all really close. I had a hard time putting him at 4 because I felt like it was a little disrespectful. But
yeah, but you don't think that this year was more like that's what I'm saying is I know I keep going back to this, but if you look at them disconnected from the roster they're on, Aaron Rodgers is not 4.
I guess, but no, I mean, I think that you have to look at what they did with the talent around them, and I get that he doesn't have a crazy amount of talent, but it's not like he had I don't know. I mean, just 62% compared to 75% completion percentage. I think those are numbers that I can't ignore. I can't say that. I can't honestly say that he would be better than Drew Brees in New Orleans right now because what I saw from Aaron Rodgers last season was just, I don't know. There wasn't the normal Aaron Rodgers that I'm used to seeing.
He's doing my job for me.
I'm confident Aaron Rodgers would have played as well or better than Drew Brees this season if he was on the
He would have definitely been better than he was, but I don't know. To me, I have a hard time. It's another hypothetical. It's something that I have to really convince myself that he would, and there's really no evidence for that as of this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, but look at the years past.
It's not like Drew Brees was a bum.
No, Drew Brees isn't a bum, but Aaron Rodgers is deserving of being an MVP candidate year in, year out.
And Drew Brees is not? Is that what you're telling me?
No. Last year, yes. Year in, year out, no.
Okay. Hayden, who's your guy?
I have Aaron Rodgers at number 4.
No.
For every single reason that Kennedy just said. Again, he's doing my job for me. He's doing my job for me.
Now I kind of feel bad. Maybe Drew Brees is the 4th best quarterback in the league.
It's not like Aaron Rodgers' team is devoid of talent. Devontae Adams is pretty damn good.
True, Devontae Adams is.
You just said Randall Cobb still has something left on the last episode.
Yeah. He does have something left. Not enough to be a number 2 receiver, but he has something left.
Is Jimmy Graham in Green Bay as well?
Yeah, Jimmy Graham had a good year.
Who made Jimmy Graham look like a top 2 tight end in the NFL?
Drew Brees did.
Okay. Would you consider Jimmy Graham a top 2 tight end in the NFL now since he's been with Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson?
No.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't.
Again, Aaron Rodgers is very, very talented, but
I think that's more testament to the offense they run than, the player itself. But I think Jimmy Graham is very capable of being a top tight end in the league. Not necessarily number 2. He did have a really good season. But he is capable of being in the conversation up there.
So why isn't he?
It's a good question. I think it's the offensive system, the team that he plays for, what they run.
I do agree with that to an extent. I think that the offensive system was really nice for Jimmy Graham, and I think that he's also older. He's a little athletically inferior than he was before.
Yeah, but he's not that old, is he?
He's like 32. In football, that's pretty old.
That old.
Yeah. So I think that part of that can be attributed to why he's not as good with Aaron Rodgers. But even then, I do agree. I think that the Packers did have talent. They didn't have a great offensive line, but they had enough talent to where I think you could throw for over 62% and have a higher QB rating than 13th in the league. So that's my only point. I think that he's a great quarterback. I don't think that he's going to have those same numbers this year. And even if he did, those aren't bad numbers. But I think it was a little bit of a fluke here. But I also think that it happened, and so I have to take that into consideration.
And then he blamed everyone else for it happening instead of saying, I didn't have a good year. But anyway, that's the intangible part.
Number 3?
Yep.
I think all of our number 3s are the same.
Go ahead.
You want me to go first? I kind of want to hear somebody else. I don't want to be put on the spot like that.
Y'all want to hear my number 3?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
I love you. You are my favorite person. Let's go. Hey, I'm not saying Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, I feel really bad. I do feel really bad, but look, Tom Brady regular season we were talking about is Tom Brady finally aging, and then postseason he had a really good first 3 games. The Super Bowl really wasn't that great, but
he won a Super Bowl.
No, I get it. That's why he's in my top 3. I actually almost put Aaron Rodgers.
Been there.
Look, Tom Brady. He's consistently one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. If this was an all-time,
Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback to ever touch a football, and he came off a Super Bowl win, and you have him at number 3.
Yeah. Okay, so let me pull up his numbers real quick. But his numbers were like.
I got him for you. 4,300 yards, 7.5 yards a throw, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 65% completion percentage. And he actually had a barely better QBR than Aaron Rodgers, who had a terrible year for Aaron Rodgers. He also graded lower on PFF than my top 2. He also graded lower than Phillip Rivers. I'm going to read you all the quarterbacks that have better QBRs than Tom Brady this past season.
Next time, whenever we do one of these lists going forward, I think we all need to start before and just look at how we're going to assess our list so we all assess them the same and we're all talking about the same thing.
I think that's what makes this great is that we all kind of have different angles that we're looking at it from.
Yeah, the same thing. I'm not looking at it as how we played last year.
Does last season not play into your list?
Of course it does, but it plays into my list almost as much as the year before and the year before that.
See, for me, though, it's a little different.
Quarterbacks as players, not as the team that's surrounding them and how they. I get it. Tom Brady's getting older, and he.
Wait. Are you saying Tom Brady didn't have talent around him?
No.
You just said
that. No. What I'm saying is I'm pulling them away. Every quarterback on the list, I'm taking them away from the team that they're on and assessing them as a player.
So then, how can you argue that Tom Brady is a better quarterback right now? Right now.
I'm talking about top 10 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, which is right now. Because I all think we have the number 1 quarterback the same. Unless yours is Tom Brady, which is blasphemy.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
Josh is mad at you right now if it's Tom Brady. I can even sit here and say that my number 1 is easy.
My number 1 was very easy. It was the first name I wrote down on this list.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Tom Brady. I get it. He won a Super Bowl, and I think that's for a 41-year-old. That's incredible. I also think that we're seeing a slight decline in his numbers. It's not like he's a bad quarterback. I think he's the number 3 quarterback in the league. That's really good. But as a 41-year-old, if we were to say going forward, we've seen somewhat of a decline to where I could reasonably say like next year it wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't a top 5 quarterback in the league. Now,
until the postseason,
they won a Super Bowl with him. He's a 41-year-old Super Bowl winner. I think I can't put him outside of the top 3, but regular season stats, most people were questioning whether he had 1 or 2 more seasons left. A lot of people, even now, were saying
1 or 2 Super Bowls left.
Maybe, but the Patriots overall this year weren't like a dominant team.
And again, they just lost Gronk, which do not misinterpret.
I'll be writing this down.
No, again, Ian, what did I just tell you 2 weeks ago? In a big game, in a big moment, a game that matters, I will take Tom Brady over everyone. It doesn't matter. You're reading this the wrong way. You're reading this the wrong way.
And that's what I think we all are looking at this in different ways.
But what I'm saying is, in a top 10 quarterback right now, it is very close, but he is number 3. Did he seriously just hang up? Or did it die?
I think he just left.
Wow.
I think he just left. Wow.
Guys, oh no, he's back.
Thank God. Oh, man.
I was about to say, I made Ian Sellers rage quit just like I did Kennedy Curley freshman year.
Dang, man.
Okay, but again, you're
about to leave again.
No, I got a phone call, but it was perfect time.
Like, you're interpreting this the wrong way. You're taking this as a slight against Tom Brady because you don't like who's going to be at number 2. I already know you don't. I know you don't.
Well, no, I don't mind who's at number 2. You're wrong, but I don't mind it.
Ian, the top 10 quarterback right now. It's very close. But everything points to the guy in New Orleans as
Let's finish number 3. Was your number 3 Tom Brady?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, my number 3 is Patrick Mahomes.
I'm leaving. Bye. You're lying. You're lying. I refuse to believe you. Ian, stop. You're full of crap.
You want me to show you?
Yes, I do, actually.
Let me see if I can show you without. I don't want to give too much away here. Number 3.
Oh my God.
Wait, what? Who was number 4?
Drew Brees.
Oh my God, you have Aaron Rodgers.
I have the 2 quarterbacks in the league at number 1 and number 2.
I'm sorry, man. I'm not even sorry, Ian. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
In one season, in his first season as a starter, he threw 50 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He did everything but throw it in between the legs pass.
Number 2 or number 1.
He's done it for 1 year.
I get that.
Right now, if I had to pick one quarterback going forward, it's Patrick Mahomes. It's not even close. I don't even think about it.
Not going forward next year. Who do you think?
And if we're talking about who was the best quarterback last year,
next year, who will be the best quarterback? Next year, who will be the best quarterback in the NFL?
Probably Patrick Mahomes.
Who was the best?
If we do this list, if we're talking about who was the best quarterback last year, but my list is the best quarterbacks in the NFL overall, not who the best quarterback last year was.
So
we're talking about who was the best quarterback last year. Patrick Mahomes is number 1.
And next year, he's the best quarterback.
Next year, he'll probably be the best quarterback in the league.
And how is he not the best quarterback in the NFL?
Hayden. Overall. And did we not talk about how we're taking careers into this?
You said that, and I took careers too.
We still took careers into this. It doesn't matter. That's why Tom Brady's number 2.
He's played 1 year in the NFL.
He's played 1 great year in the NFL. Unheard of year in the NFL. And I think that, sometimes there's an exception to the rule.
I'm not going to take a quarterback who's played 1 season in the NFL and rank top 10 quarterbacks in the league and put him at number 1.
If I could take any player in the league right now, I would take Patrick Mahomes.
So would I.
But your issue is he's at what? 3?
Yeah, he's at 3.
And you have Aaron Rodgers at And you have Drew Brees at 4. So Aaron Rodgers is ahead of both of them.
Yes. Because you take them away from their teams and you look at Aaron Rodgers is probably the best passer in the history of the NFL.
We're talking about quarterbacks as a whole.
Yes, we are.
Yes, that
as a whole. So tell me this: if you had prime Aaron Rodgers and you had prime Patrick Mahomes, who are you gonna take?
Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's. I'm not mad at you for saying that, but I think it's a closer conversation than that.
So I would say this: if we were talking about careers, like who I'm taking, prime Patrick Mahomes, prime Aaron Rodgers, then that's a different conversation than who's the better quarterback right now, because Aaron Rodgers is not in his prime anymore. Patrick Mahomes isn't in his prime either, but he's playing like Aaron Rodgers was in his prime as a young quarterback.
Better than Aaron Rodgers was in his prime. But anyway.
Well, my number 2.
Wow.
We'll say your number 1. I guess just say your number 1, because if you say your number 2, we'll know who your number 1 is. Skip the 1.
My number 1 is Drew Brees. Got you again. All right, no, I got Patrick Mahomes at number 1. I think he was the best quarterback last year. He's going to be the best quarterback this year. We've never seen he's not a rookie. We've never seen a year 1 starter play as well as Patrick Mahomes, and he was already the best quarterback in the league. I haven't seen anyone. The closest thing that I've seen to him, and you could say Aaron Rodgers is better than him, but Aaron Rodgers and him I think are actually really similar as far as they can both put the ball pretty much anywhere they want. They can both bomb the ball down the field. The arm talent is unreal, and the production is there too. Tyreek Hill was good before Patrick Mahomes started. Tyreek Hill is now like one notch above where he was with Alex Smith. I mean, and now we're even talking about like the supporting cast of Patrick Mahomes. You know, you've got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, not really any notable running back yet, but offensive line is I would say it's solid, not great, but solid. And the defense is trash, but the one thing that makes them a contender above anything else is Patrick Mahomes. The Packers aren't a contender just because of Aaron Rodgers anymore. They weren't last year, at least. Patrick Mahomes is my number 1. Drew Brees, as I said before, 74% completion. Actually, a higher QB rating than Patrick Mahomes, maybe even the higher PFF. But just the throws that Patrick Mahomes is capable of making, Drew Brees doesn't make those, which is fine. Doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback, but the ability there with Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal, and their production is similar. Their age is a lot different, so that's the end of my list.
My list is the exact same.
My number 1 is the best quarterback in the history of the NFL. It's the guy who's fresh off a Super Bowl win at 41, 42?
41.
Yeah, 41 years old.
Which is absolutely insane.
And as long as he's in the league and he's still winning Super Bowls, I don't know how you can take him out of number 1. And to your point, Hayden, what you said earlier, if you had a drive to win the game,
I'm taking Tom Brady. Taking Tom Brady.
You're taking Tom Brady. So I've got him as number 1 on my list.
And see, I'm less mad at him being number 1 and you having Aaron Rodgers over both Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes. If you would have done Brady, Mahomes, Brees, maybe Rodgers over Brees, because I know how much you're a troll and all that other bullcrap, but
that's fine.
You know,
this is completely like me putting Drew Brees at number 4 is maybe I did. I'll admit it on camera. I'll do it. I put Michael Thomas a little lower than he should have been just because I wanted to get under your skin a little bit. And I've already told you guys that. I'll go ahead and say it on camera. I did it. Brees at number 4 is exactly where I think he belongs, and I thought.
And I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. So in my head, when I was doing my list, my number one, I started at number 1. I knew I wanted 1. And then I had my list of quarterbacks, and I worked back from 10. When I got to 2 and 3, that's what took me the longest. And I really fought with that in my head for a while. But, I landed it on Aaron Rodgers. And I do think, I will give you this. After what Patrick Mahomes did and after what we all believe he's going to do, I do think it's a slight to him to have him at number 3. But I just think what I've seen from Aaron Rodgers over his career and what he's capable of doing, I'm not ready to take him out of 2 yet.
Okay. Well,
there you go.
There you have it. Hayden and I have the exact same top 4. I think we're all in agreement that Andrew Luck is overrated. Oh, wait, no, we're not all in agreement on that.
Of course.
Who else? Deshaun Watson. Actually, we had the same top 5.
Yeah, we had the same top 5. We also had number 10 the same.
I don't like it at all.
This is crazy because just earlier today we were going at each other's throats on Twitter.
Yeah.
We weren't really, but like we were definitely throwing some shade. I mean, and now it's like we're on the same page. This is great. This is a story of redemption, everyone.
It
actually kind of sucks because I enjoy my role as being the bad guy.
Yeah.
Kennedy, I don't really know what's gotten into you the past 2 episodes, but I need it to change, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like being the one out here. I like it when Hayden gets to say stupid shit and we get to get on to him for it.
I kind of do enjoy, I don't want to do this consistently, but the last few episodes have been a nice change of pace where
it has been a change.
I've been saying some kind of hot takes that I don't think are even wrong. Yeah.
You shocked me a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been fun. It has been fun.
Let me
just say this.
It's been fun while it lasted. Let's get it fixed. Let's get it back to how we are.
On my top 3 young duos going forward, I'm switching De'Aaron Fox and Luka Doncic. De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley are now number 2, and Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis are number 3.
Okay. I'm changing my top 5 quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson is not. All right. Well,
I'm just kidding. I had to get back to being the outlandish one.
I'm switching the people I ever want to talk to again in my life. Hayden, you're no longer on the list.
Oh, sweet. Well, I think that's pretty much everything that we have today. We'll do another list sometime soon. What have we done so far? We've done wide receiver, running back, now quarterback.
I'd like to do something on the defensive side of the ball.
I would too. Let's do corners.
We could do corners.
Let's do corners. I'd love to do corners.
So we can all agree on number 1.
True. And we can all agree on Marshall and Lattimore being somewhere from 10 to 7.
You literally just said the other day when we were – okay.
I know, and you literally just said that Luka Doncic is going to be the best player in the NBA, and you fucking put their duo at number 3.
I said I was joking. I had to get back to being the outlandish one.
Whatever.
All right. Again. Well, next few days we'll be putting up another podcast, so stay tuned to that.
Friday.
We'll have another ranking out.
The computer situation figured out.
Yep, and Hayden will likely have a Saints player top 2. This is what he does. So until then,
corners, would you disagree?
Well, Byron Jones needs to be at number 1. Chidobe Awuzie needs to be at 2.
You're on
Jordan Lewis.
Jordan
okay,
Lewis
now
needs to be up there.
Now you're on drugs.
Yeah, and Dak Prescott at number 4. No. So yeah. Well, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and end this. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter at Lunch Sports, and we'll see you maybe Friday. I think the Friday is scheduled. Yep. See y'all.